What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. I want to share just another thing that God has told me about who I am and why I'm so thankful that God speaks identity to me, that He, and not just to me, but to all of His people. He directs not just what should you do, but who are you? Who have I made you to be? And that clarity is so helpful. I'm going to be talking about it all year. But the summary of what I want to share about today is that God has made me to be someone that is, the best one word I could say is resilient. A strength and a conviction of obedience, an overcoming spirit, just this resilience that's not just a personality thing, but it's something that God's done in me intentionally. And like most things, I know this because it's been confirmed many times through a lot of different people that have at different points shared prophetic words with me. So let me give you a few that are under this same vein. Starting in 2013, Ricky Arnold, a guy that did not know me, said, "You are a man of power." That same day, a guy said, "God has given you an overcoming spirit. You are not one who shrinks back in response to life, but one who presses on and continues to grow." Another person that didn't know me. That summer, someone felt like God highlighted Revelation 12:11 to them for my encouragement. And it says, "They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." Another person said that there's power on my life. Another person said, "I got the word fierce. A fierce love, a fierce pursuit of Jesus, a fierce fight against the darkness." Kelly O'Keefe said, "I see strength in you, Jeremy." Thanks, Kelly. A guy named Nick Perry, I think this was maybe just an encouragement. I don't know if this was actually something he felt like God said. But he said, "Atmospheres change and demons flee when you walk into a room." I like that. I like changed atmospheres and freedom from the presence of demons. Another guy said that, so a well-seasoned prophetic voice named Bob McCorkle, he said, "You scare me. There's a look in your eye. You're dangerous. There's a danger about you because you are going to be obedient to whatever God tells you to do, not afraid of the no's that you might hear from others because of how fixed you are on the yes from God." All right, y'all tell me. These eyes look dangerous to you? They look like normalized to me, okay? This guy had never met me before, and I'm just there chuckling as he's sharing this. Like, what do you mean I scare you? You are the GOAT prophet, man, and I'm just a kid. Like, what are you even saying right now? Now we're in January 2014. Bryce said, "You are like a geyser, and the Lord just channels the water through you, and it doesn't just bubble up, but it shoots up with power." And so the Lord is unlocking geysers in you, revealing to you the sources of His power that never fade or run dry, and He's going to channel them through you. Another stranger said, "You walk in power." That spring in 2014, a girl named Allie Mock, thanks Allie, said, "As we were praying over you this morning, God gave me the words, 'Lion of God,' for you. Jeremy, I admire and appreciate your leadership so much. You have a quiet strength about you. A lion at rest is a magnificent thing indeed. Yet when God calls you to roar, you roar. You lead in a way that no one else can. It's because you follow your dad's voice so obediently and diligently." Hopefully y'all have seen this theme of strength and also this obedience to God that does not relent. That's maybe unique. Andy, my older bro, at my bachelor party, had an amazing encouragement. I won't read the whole thing because it's long, but the theme of it was that I am strong and courageous. And he just recited different instances in my life where I was facing pressures and I didn't succumb to those pressures, but I remained strong and courageous. He said, "You are a speaker of truth and a ceaseless pursuer of God, a strong and courageous man of God, and you have been for so long now." Thanks, bro. John Reed said in 2015, "You are analogous to a cannon. You are hard to move, and you're really powerful." Okay, guys, at this time I weighed probably a clean 145 pounds. So I'm pretty easy to move if you're actually trying to fight me. But he's saying this spirit strength is unwavering. He went on to say, "You may be surrounded by sin or amongst people who try to cheat you or slander you, but you will have no reason to fear, for God in you is strong and powerful." Heather Puchek in 2016 said, "God strengthens you in accordance to the power of Jesus Christ, and you live in that strength and boldness." My wife in 2017, we were married. Yep. She said, "I feel like God says that you are strong." Thanks, Megan. Summer 2017, we're living in Dubai for 3 months, and the team leader out there, Clint, said, "I feel like I get this picture of the guy that jumps over the barrels in the original Donkey Kong game. And in that, I feel like God is saying that he's laid out a path before you, and there are barriers and obstacles that the enemy throws at you, but it's an adventure that God has called you to, and he's empowered you to overcome those obstacles. Even in the game, the barrels were just as big as the guy was, but he had an ability to jump way higher than someone could naturally. So I feel like God has created you for big and great things and given you a supernatural ability to overcome. And just like the guy in the game, though the barrels themselves are big, he jumps over them with ease. In the same way, it won't be difficult for you to overcome the obstacles of the enemy. It's like you don't even bust a sweat jumping over them. David didn't struggle for a moment to take on Goliath. And similarly, you have the courage on your life through God to take on obstacles and challenges that most cower away from." So encouraging. 9 months later, March 2018, "You are a mighty warrior, just like Gideon, who found his strength in God." He was called a judge in that he was chosen by God to protect, preserve, and deliver Israel. You're conquering everything, small or big, through the strength of knowing you are a chosen warrior leading an army. And just a few other people that said, "I'm strong, I'm solid, I'm a trooper, I'm a rock." Isn't that kind of crazy? Do y'all think this is just super duper normal? Because I didn't in that 5-year stretch of random disconnected people. Some of them knew me for some amount of time, some of them didn't for very long, and some of them were complete strangers, but all independently feeling like, hey, I think I have a word to share with you for your encouragement. I think it's God wanting to speak to you. And just on this theme of overcoming and strength and just a resilience in the way that I obey God, or at least what I feel like God is saying. And it's encouraging, guys. It's not just encouraging like, woohoo, look at me. But an identity thing is there's a responsibility that comes with the encouragement. It's not just, oh, wow, I must be so awesome because you think I'm so awesome. It's, oh, you're saying that God is saying that this is who I am. If this is who I am, then that means there's something he's called me to do with that. You know, it's not just pat myself on the back and yay. It's almost like scares the crap out of me. Like, oh no, like, what's that? What does that mean? Like, what are the implications of demons fleeing when I walk in the room? What are the implications of, you know, I have the courage to take on obstacles and challenges that most cower away from? Like, does that mean I'm going to have to prove that, you know? And ultimately, the encouragement is that if it is true of who I am, I don't have to live up to that standard in order for it to be true. But I can know that it's true. And the way that that's helped me in life, maybe two main ways, at least so far. One is when I face conflicts or difficulties or challenges, I know that deep down I am supposed to overcome. I'm supposed to be like a little Donkey Kong that hops over this barrel and we're chilling. And so, even in the way that I overcome, it's not this grit my teeth, like wrestle with this for 10 years and ultimately I will outlast this thing. But it's a strong overcoming. It's a resilient overcoming. I never gave the barrel a thought that it would win type of overcoming, no matter what it may cost me, Revelation 12:11, love me not my own life, even unto death. That level of conviction to overcome. And knowing that that's what I'm supposed to do has helped me, because there have been challenges that have been incredibly challenging. And if I didn't know deep down that, hey, I'm supposed to be uniquely able to overcome these things, it doesn't put the pressure on me, it puts the pressure on the Lord ultimately. But it drives me to pray, to seek God, to inquire of Him, to ask for help from Him. And God, if I'm supposed to overcome, how? Like, show me. Like, instead of what I might be praying about is, Lord, can you get me out of this? Lord, make this thing go away. Or like, maybe this can just be the thorn in my side. Like, maybe I'll just get accustomed to this difficult circumstance and it'll just be a part of my life and I'll just have to settle for that and learn how to live with it. I know that that's not what I'm supposed to do, and it's not because I'm just too prideful to do that. It's because of these words that God's spoken to me over years of time, highlighting this call to overcome. And the other way that this has encouraged me, so one is in response to difficulty and trial, it's helped me know how to pray, how to seek the Lord, and push me in the right direction. And I don't have time to talk about all the trials, but there have been trials, You might think, if you just watch all these YouTube videos, that Jeremy's just lived a perfect and easy life, but that's not the case. The other way that this word has helped me is as it relates to life direction and decisions. I have felt grace from God to do things that other people might cower away from. And I don't know what all those things will be in the future, but a couple things. Two obvious ones. One is moving to Fayetteville, Arkansas, having to raise financial support for my salary and try to start a church from scratch in a place where we didn't know anyone. We didn't have a marketing budget at all. We didn't have an interest group before we moved here. Just 12 people moved here. That's it, And 3 of us were on staff of our church, That was a risk, right? And the other big risk is transitioning off of staff after the church became established to pursue entrepreneurship. Again, that's just something that most people wouldn't want to do, that the pressure associated with it is pretty intense, it's pretty difficult. But I have deep down this awareness that the strength of my conviction, not that it's from me, not that it's my conviction, but God at work in me has made me to be one that trusts Him in a unique way, and that can face difficulty and overcome and not be overcome by the difficulties. So how hard something is doesn't determine whether or not I'm going to do it, right? It's just, is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this what God's asking me to do? If so, then let's go. And I know it's not going to crush me. It's not going to destroy me. That God's not sending me off of a cliff, but He's sending me, He has plans to prosper me and not to harm me, to give me a hope in the future. I know some of y'all don't like when Christians quote that verse because they're like, you didn't tell the whole story of the Israelites. Out of context. Out of context. Jeez. God's a good God. He gives good gifts. He's a great leader. He's the perfect leader. And so if he's leading me somewhere, I'm going to follow him. And I know that my following him will also enable other people to follow him. That if we're like a flock of doves, you know, like here's Jesus. And then if I can be kind of some of these earlier doves, you know, that cast just a little bit more of a draft for the greater flock to be aided by, then man, I want to do that. And I know that I want to do that because God has spoken that to me so clearly through so many people. And so even if I wake up one day on a hard day and I don't want to do that, I don't want to overcome, it feels like too much, I want to give in, I don't want to do a hard thing, I just want to do an easy thing, I know that that's not true. I know that that's not the real Jeremy. The real Jeremy wants to do hard things that are challenging and not give up and overcome. And it's a tough reality to live in, guys. I'm not saying you should envy me by any means, but man, thankful that God's spoken this to me, and thankful that I know this about me because of God's leadership and his voice as heard by his people. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'll talk to y'all soon. Life is worship, and God is love.